So you know when you can't pay your debt, or let's say that you own a house, you own a home, whatever, a car, boat, and the loan goes to foreclosure and you can't pay your debt and they threaten to evict you. That happens to a lot of people. In fact, it's just gonna happen more and more as the inflation goes up, prices increase, people can't afford to pay their debts, and now I don't know how things are abroad. In my country, they're probably going to raise the interest rate actually today. It's going to be an interest rate bump, which is very bad news for a lot of people because, oh yeah, and it was actually just decided in the central bank committee, whatever you want to call it in my country, that they would spike the interest rate because, according to them, the price increase is too high and it's been above target for many years. The information we have about the inflation views the latest weeks support these analyses we put forward in March. The central bank's boss, or whatever our Fed chair, we didn't have a Federal Reserve, but our central bank chair said. Anyway, so they're increasing the interest rate, which means that a lot of people with homes that have mortgages are now gonna have to scramble even more because not only are prices increasing, but the interest rate is increasing as well, which means they have to pay more of their loans, and that's bad news. And maybe they have maybe they have credit card debt, maybe they have car loans, student loans, etc., etc. Our point is, let's say that these poor people, have their loans foreclosured. I think that's the proper term, well, the loan goes to foreclosure, because they can't pay their debt, and they're being threatened to getting evicted. Now, what's going to happen is the bailiff that's appointed by the court is going to show up at their homes and physically hand them a letter which says, "Hey, pay us this money in 1 week, or you're going to have to move out of this house." House. I wanted to say home, but I ended up saying home instead of house. Now, here's an interesting thing that I didn't know. I don't know how things work abroad. In my country, the bailiffs, they're kind of like an executive branch of the police. They're not the police, but they're like a separate administrative and executive branch, reporting to the same, people that the police does. Now, here's what's interesting. These people, they're just regular people. They're not the police. They're not armed or whatever. They don't have the authority to apprehend anybody. They actually had to wear bulletproof vests when they're showing up and handing the eviction order or the letter that threatens to evict people. And remember, they're knocking on doors to people who might be facing the worst crisis of their lives. These people know that their loans have been foreclosure because they've probably received other letters in the mail. They probably have what I had for a brief stint, and I still to some degree have it, the mailbox fear, whatever you want to call it. I.e., you're afraid of opening up your mailbox because you don't want to look at the pile of white envelopes, which are just stuffed with bills and other unpleasant letters. And so the point of all this is simply just to remind you that this is just going to keep happening, because as the Strait of Hormuz remains closed as of today is May 7th, 2026. Let's hope it gets open soon. I'm hearing that they're working on some sort of a peace solution, whatever. I don't believe it until I see it, but whatever. Assuming that the Strait of Hormuz remains closed and that the and that there is a lack of, or shortage rather of petrochemicals, oil, etc., then what's going to happen to the prices? What do you think is going to happen to the price when there's high demand but low supply? Well, the prices are going to spike through the roof, which makes things even worse for the poor people who are losing their homes. Anyway, so the point is, of course, learn to manage your finances properly. Be a responsible financial savant. That's the main lesson. That's the main message of this video. If you want to learn more, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the subscription wherever you're watching or listening to this, and I'll see you there.